Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at both WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, when all daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including 5% best bets, normally priced at $35. As an added bonus, any picks packages loaded early for Overnight Tuesday or action during the week will also be priced at $9 until midnight on Monday. So make sure to take advantage of getting these $25 and $35 picks for only $9 before the clock strikes 12 and they return to regular price.
Welcome everybody to Wager Talk Today. I'm Lawrence Presman. That man is Teddy Covers. Had an outstanding Sunday. Couldn't be happier. And you people are watching the best daily sports betting show on the planet. Happy New Year to everybody. I hope you guys had an amazing, wonderful, sensational weekend. I know Georgia did, and TCU. We'll be diving into that game a little later. My man, who's on? How was your weekend? What's going down?
Well, let's talk about what we have on the first show of 2023. It's going to be very similar to the last show of 2022. We got three guests for you today. Meghan Payton's going to open the show. She's going to talk Monday Night Football props. We're going to talk Josh Allen, Joe Mixon, and T. Higgins for tonight's game between the Bengals and the Bills. Marco D'Angelo is going to join us next. He's going to break down the game itself, Buffalo and Cincinnati, as well as one in the NBA for this evening, Miami and the LA Clippers. Drew Martin going to close out the show. He's got a pair in college football. He's going to talk LSU and Purdue in bowl action today, and TCU, Georgia. A little look ahead for the national championship game next Monday. My big game breakdown. I'm going to talk USC Tulane in bowl action. That one kicks off in just under an hour. So we do have a loaded show right here on a Monday.
Teddy, you have a good New Year's?
Sure, it was fine. I made it to New Year's. I didn't think I would. You know, in recent years, most years I don't. But yeah, it was a fun night. Obviously, we had the 5% big ticket winner with the Ohio State Georgia going over the total. That was nice and fairly easy and a fun game to watch, and certainly kept us entertained. And I mean, what an entertaining duo of games on New Year's Eve. I mean, it was really, the Michigan TCU game was as drunk a game as I've ever seen. There was that 8-minute stretch. They scored 58 points in 8 minutes.
It was insane.
With one big play after the next. Your head, 58 points, dude. That was over the total. So, yeah. But yeah, it was a fun one. It was a fun Saturday. It was a fun Sunday. All good, man. Nothing to complain about on a Monday morning. I'll find something before this show's through. Prez, what about you?
Well, firstly, guys, Teddy had a great day yesterday betting. So did I. I won. You know what, Teddy? I went into Friday night. So Friday night, second last night of December, and I lost all 3 basketball plays, and I was freaking out. I was like, "Oh God, is it over?" You know, when you're on this, I'm on a 4-month bender, bro. 4 months.
I understand.
and then I lost all 3 basketball games. And I'm like, oh God, oh no, oh God. And I'm like, the most important day in betting when you're selling plays is the day after a disaster. Because then, then you're like, oh, is it begun? Is the slump on? Come back on Saturday and just annihilated the card. And then on Sunday, I won again. So Pence still on. I'm on day 7 now in these ones. I did clean the old ones, so I've got them ready. I got them ready to use. But yeah, I had a great. I won my 5% play. I had Detroit and the Chargers 6-point teaser. Teddy, man, let's bring Meghan in. But we're gonna talk. I'm gonna ask you about this Tennessee Jacksonville game at some point today. Just a look ahead. Well, maybe we'll bleed it into the opening line report. Meghan Payton, how was your New Year's? Now, it had to have been better than Teddy and I. We're both old, decrepit men with partners. We barely made it to midnight. You are young and vibrant. tell me you had a monster Saturday night.
Well, Prez, I'll say this. Me and my fiance got in and out and we're in bed by like 11:45. So I think that I might be the old one here, but we were at the TCU Michigan game. So that was my like New Year's kind of that happened earlier in the day. So we were kind of beat up by the time that was over, but it was a great game. My brother goes to TCU, works in the football scouting department. So go Frogs. We are ready for the Natty here at SoFi. So I'll take that as my New Year's.
Okay. Well, when is the wedding?
The wedding is June 17th. So we've got some fun planning coming up.
Where will it be?
It'll be here in California.
Excellent.
Yep.
Okay, well, let's get to it. We got a big game going tonight, and it really, really is. It's just massive. Buffalo wins. They're going to get that 1 seed. Cincinnati wins, and it's going to come down to the last games of the year. You got 3 prop bets for us. Give them all at one time, and if Teddy's got a question, he'll ask.
Perfect. Yeah, this is a huge game here. I'm excited for Bills Bengals. I've got 3 player props. Let's start with Josh Allen. I'm going to take over 257.5 passing yards for Allen. I expect this to be a big game for him. Allen's coming off one of his worst performances of the season. He's averaged, though, nearly 269 yards per game. So last week, in my opinion, was a bit of a fluke. This is still a very elite quarterback. The Bills are 8th in pass attempts, going up against a Bengals pass defense that's bottom 3rd in the league. Allen also said this week that he needs to get Stephon Diggs involved more. Stephon Diggs only 2 receptions last week. If Diggs and Allen can get that connection going, I like over 257.5 passing yards for Allen. I expect this to be a high-scoring game as well. Number 2, we're going to look at running back Joe Mixon over 79.5 receiving and rushing yards combined. Mixon is averaging 90 total yards per game this season. It's one of his worst, if actually it is his worst rushing year since his rookie debut, but it's also his best pass catching year. Joe Mixon is kind of that forgotten player, I feel like, on this Bengals offense that's so elite. I've been paying attention to him closely just due to the fact that he's been on my fantasy team, but I like Mixon here. That's why I'm going to combine the passing or the receiving and rushing yards. 79.5. I like this number. Lastly, I'm going to look at wide receiver T. Higgins under 69.5 receiving yards. Higgins is coming off a huge game, over 100 yards last week. But the 2 weeks prior, both those games, he had just over 30 receiving yards. The Bills give up a lot of yards to wide receiver 1. So I think that Jamar Chase could potentially have a big game. But when it comes to wide receiver 2s, the Bills defense is pretty good, only allowing 39 yards per game for wide receiver 2s. I like T. Higgins under 69.5 receiving yards. This is a huge game. I think this is a high-scoring game, which is a great way to end our Monday Night Football games this season. But I got Higgins under 69.5 yards. I got Mixon over 79.5 receiving and rushing combined, and Allen over 257.5 passing yards.
So Allen's been an under machine. What's he cashed? 2 overs since Halloween. What's that? 2, 4, 6, 9 games. And he's playing a pretty good defense in this one. Now, the total's fairly high, but obviously it's an outdoor game at night in January, which isn't necessarily optimal. Let's throw for 260-plus yards conditions. Are you worried at all about the fact that Allen's current form doesn't necessarily merit this number, given that he hasn't been going over at 257.5, not on any kind of consistent basis?
I'm not too worried just because when I look at the Bills' outlook for this game, they're winning in the passing game. And I believe the Bills can win this game, but they're going to need to have Josh Allen to have a big game. I mean, you think about the Bills as a whole, just from an outside perspective, what do you think of? You think of Josh Allen, you think of Stephon Diggs, you think of big passing games, you think of high scoring games. And I think that though there's been games this season where we haven't seen that consistency, going up against a Bengals defense, I like the matchup with the Bengals secondary against players like Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis. I like, Josh Allen to have a bigger game tonight.
Meghan Payton, whoops, I had me on mute. Listen, I don't stop talking. So if I don't put me on mute, it's like, Anyway, Meghan, just amazing, outstanding stuff, and congrats on getting engaged. I know it was a while back anyway, but we've never told you that. What do you
Thank
got
you.
going? Anything to promote? Fill us in.
Yeah, we're going to do a primetime preview for this Monday night game actually later today. So that should be up on the channel before kickoff. And I've mentioned it here on the show, but it's getting closer. We're going to be doing these Saturday in-game live shows here at WagerTalk TV. I'm expecting we're going to get some info from Ranieri, but I think in the next couple of weeks that should be kicking off. So all of this to be found on WagerTalk.com, WagerTalk TV on YouTube and whatnot. But thank you guys. Like I say always, every week, my favorite part of Mondays. I appreciate you having me on.
Thanks, Megan. Outstanding stuff. Teddy, we got the B6 coming up, but before we do that, head office slacked me. It's the last day of my promo, so I'm going to give it out. I'm not going to go ballistic like I did last time and demand people take their credit cards out of their pocket. But like Jessica, you're on week 2 buying my weekly all access. You're killing it. Now it's time to buy the whole month. So, guys, use the promo code PREZ199, PREZ199. Listen, it's $99 a week if you buy it in all access, $99 a week. This is $199 for 4 weeks, and we add an extra week. So you're getting 5 weeks all access for $199. And to give you perspective, I'm on a 14-4 NBA run. I'm on a 36-18 college basketball run. I'm on a 5-1 and 53-25 hoops run. I've won 20 of my last 27 days across all sports. I've won 7 of my last NFL cards. I'm finally getting going in NHL. My college football's ridiculous. And of course, I'm handsome as shit. So please use the promo code PREZ119. Get a month plus an extra week free. Thank you, guys. Teddy, it's time for you, baby. B6.
Yeah, but
Let's go.
Before I do that, you got to give your promo code right. What's the promo code, Lawrence?
Did I screw it up?
Just say it again so everyone's clear.
Prez
199. Prez 119
Yes.
is not going to get you there. Let's
Sorry,
talk a
Teddy.
little bad
Thank you.
beats, bad bets, and bad for the book. A recap of what just happened this past weekend. We'll start with some bad beats. And look, there was lots of drama in the college bowls. I'm not sure how many real bad beats. You know, Pitt rallying from 2 touchdowns down to beat UCLA. That's not a bad beat, just a rally. Same thing with Notre Dame rallying from 2 touchdowns down to beat South Carolina. Look, Wyoming plus 2.5 wasn't any fun. Cowboys led with 2 minutes to play, couldn't hold it, and lost by a field goal to Ohio in overtime. Plus 2.5, no good. Wyoming, that was pretty tough. And of course, Ohio State money line was pretty tough too. That wasn't fun. The missed field goal even after they blew the lead. And then, of course, that was a game that completely changed when Harrison got hurt late. But that wasn't fun. Yesterday in the NFL, bad beats wise, I guess the Patriots were kind of a bad beat. Dolphins with a backup quarterback, then a third-string quarterback. New England misses the extra point, and it came back to haunt batters late when Miami came to the back door thanks to a pass interference call leading to the late touchdown. A 2-point loss out of a 3-point loss thanks to the missed extra point. Tough if you had New England. When it comes to bad bets, look, it was all NC State money against Maryland. Well, the Terps won that game ugly. NC State money was wrong. The under money flowed in South Carolina, Notre Dame. Well, 45-38 final. That wasn't right. Bad bets. Let's see. The Jaguars have nothing to play for. Let's bet Houston. I heard that so many times last week. Jags were bet down to -3. Well, the Texans don't have anything to play for either. 31-3 Jaguars. The Houston money was bad. And the Raiders benched Carr. San Fran opened as low as -4.5. They got bet up as high as -10. Jarrett Stidham was better than Carr yesterday in McDaniel's offense. San Fran wins by 3 in overtime. Never sniffed a cover. The 49er money. We'll call that bad bets. When it comes for bad for the books, look, Tennessee's win over Clemson. Every sharp dollar, every square dollar came on the Vols. Doesn't move the football up and down the field until they got in the red zone, then not so much. That was a bad game for the books, Tennessee winning. All the wise guy money came on Ohio State versus Georgia. There was plenty of public money, too, on the Buckeyes. That wasn't great for the house. The semifinals game, both of them flying over the total, way over. That wasn't great for the house. The wise guys are fading the Vikings every week, and they're cashing every week. The public's starting to catch on, too, even though there was nothing but Green Bay money yesterday. 41-17 final. The side got bet up. The total got bet up. That was a bad game for the house yesterday. And certainly, books that cater to wise guys. Eagles haven't shown up the last 2 weeks. The wise guys pounded Cowboys last week, and they pounded the Saints this week. New Orleans with the wire W. Books that cater to recreational players didn't do as bad with Philly, but the books that cater to the pro got slapped around with all of that anti-Eagles money. There you have it. Some bad beats, bad bets, and bad for the books. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Teddy covers Tennessee plus 6.5 against Jacksonville. Winner is in. You have any initial thoughts on that? Are you going to be taking apart this game in the opening line report, 1 p.m. Eastern on WagerTalk TV?
We take apart that game and every other game on the board on the opening line report each and every week. We go through every game on the board. I will absolutely be talking about that game. My first gut reaction is to look at Tennessee plus the points.
Right.
This line is inflated. Titans are coming to play. That being said, this could be Trevor Lawrence's coming out party. I do think the Jags are the better of these two teams. And I don't know that I'm in love with asking Tennessee to go and win on the road and snap their 7-game skid. I mean, it's been ugly for the Titans. This is no joke. That being said, Dobbs is probably their best option at QB right now. And at least they found the right quarterback.
Yeah, and my initial reaction is the same, dude. I look at Tennessee and I think to myself, man, a total of 38.5. They expect a low-scoring game. I expect Tennessee to control the clock as much as they can. I'm with you, man. I'm looking at this and thinking the points as well. Marco D'Angelo joining us. Any quick early thoughts on this Tennessee-Jacksonville game?
I haven't broke it down yet, but kudos to Tennessee and Joshua Dobbs playing well on Thursday night when nobody gave them a shot. So we'll break it down in Jacksonville. They're hot. They're playing. They're the now team. There's no question about it. And they had nothing to play for yesterday, and they went out, as Teddy said, and smacked Houston yesterday. Teddy, you forgot the biggest bad beat of all over the weekend. 2023 ushered in. Every sports bettor on the East Coast had their first fight with their wife when they weren't kissing them and celebrating New Year's Eve because the football game was finishing at the stroke of midnight on the East Coast.
I'm with you.
That is a bad beat either side of the action, whether you were watching the game and got yelled at or succumbed to the pressure and missed a glorious finish to a football game.
Where were you?
I agree with all of that, but if you're living on East Coast time, it's your own fault. All right, you're a sports bettor. East Coast time is not the good one. All right, what are you going to do? It's not.
Okay, so I was at a party and the hostess banned the football game. So I sat on the couch watching it on my phone because like I explained to Teddy last week, you can download your television channels onto your phone or computer and watch them. So I sat there watching it. My woman turned to me. She wasn't happy. She literally turned to me as they were counting down 10, 9, 8. I'm watching the game, paying no attention. And she's like, there's like 10 couples and my good friend Al. And she's like, I think I'm going to take Al home tonight. Totally missed that. I was so engrossed in the football game. Anyway, Marco, Buffalo tonight, -1, playing on the road in Cincinnati. Dude, I gotta believe. I believe in this Buffalo team. Where are you going here?
I'm just excited we finally got a Monday night game that's going to be fun to watch and actually really means a lot. And they saved the best for last. What can I say? It's our last Monday night game. I agree with you, Prez. I'm looking at the Buffalo Bills. There's no question. The last 2 years, everybody thought the Buffalo Bills were going to be the team that dethroned the KC Chiefs as far as going to the Super Bowl. Everybody thought that it was their season last year, but that unbelievable finish in the playoff game against Kansas City sent them home, and then it sent Cincinnati to play Kansas City. And I don't know if, Kansas City spent too much energy in that glorious, epic playoff game, but it was Cincinnati that made it to the Super Bowl. So Joe Burrow gets there, in his second try to the Super Bowl where Josh Allen hasn't yet. and that hasn't resonated well with him. I think Josh Allen's going to have a monster game tonight. Now, you want to talk about the now team? The now team is definitely the Cincinnati Bengals. They've won 7 in a row. But let's be realistic. If you look at the 7 games they won, they've played 2 teams that have that you could say are playing well. They beat the Kansas City Chiefs at home in an epic game, 3-point game, went right down to the wire. And then they beat the Steelers. Now, the Steelers, everybody, we, and I included, ragged on the Steelers all year. They're playing good football right now. They're beating the teams in front of them, but their defense is playing well. That offense has been a problem all year. And the only reason I point out the Pittsburgh game is Pittsburgh scored 30 points on this Cincinnati defense in that 37-30 loss. Buffalo's going to have success against this defense. I like taking the better defense, and even though Cincinnati's numbers have improved dramatically, again, I'm looking at the competition, and just like the Steelers did in their recent run of wins, Cincinnati had the benefit of their out-of-conference schedule was the NFC South. We know how bad that has been. The bottom line is Buffalo is the better defensive team. They rank number 2 defensively at points allowed, and they are number 9 in yards per play allowed. I'm going to back them here. We know this offense can get the job done. Josh Allen, if he doesn't beat you with his arm, he's got that bulldog mentality. He will tuck it and run, and he's not a guy that's looking to slide. He's, I hold my breath, and I'm sure every Buffalo Bills fan does. He dives for first downs. He doesn't, give up his body like so many quarterbacks do, and you hate to see that with a franchise quarterback, but it's also you want to see a guy that wants to win that bad. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills. I'm calling it Buffalo 28-20 tonight. Should be a fun one. Let's see what happens, and whether, not the issues that we had last week. I know a lot of people talked about, not having a good game last week. Well, remember what the weather conditions were all around the East Coast last week with Buffalo.
So I have a very simple follow-up question for this one, Marco. Cincinnati Bengals are now 20 wins and 3 losses against the spread in their last 23 games. They're the single best point spread team in the NFL this year. They were the single best point spread team in the NFL down the stretch last year. Buffalo and Cincinnati, 2 fairly evenly power rated teams. The Bills are probably a little bit better. You talked about the Bills defense. Their numbers are a little bit better. But from a power rating perspective, the Bills are a 500 team ATS. The markets have gotten them right. The markets have not gotten Cincinnati right. They've undervalued the Bengals consistently for the last year and a half. What makes you think, with the money I'm going to say trickling, but it's more than trickling in on Buffalo right now. The money's coming for Buffalo as we speak. What makes you think that now, after the Bengals have gone 20-3 and the money's coming the other way, the markets have finally realized how good this Bengals team actually is, or not realized how good this team actually is?
It's a valid point, Teddy. The thing about it is, you use the word undervalued a lot with Cincinnati and overvalued a lot with Buffalo. And that's the point here. The point spread should not have a factor tonight. We're picking the winner. In so many of those games with Cincinnati where they're winning and covering, they're not laying the numbers like a Kansas City Chiefs team is. They're the polar opposite. Kansas City has a great win-loss record, but they have a horrible point spread record because they're overvalued. We're in a spot here now. They got to win a game against a quality team. And for Buffalo, same thing. Buffalo's been overpriced because they've been the second best team for the last couple years, and they're laying numbers on the road and winning and not covering, or laying big numbers at home. We're just picking the winner here. So I think that kind of negates the overvalue, undervalue situation as far as the point spread goes.
Marco D'Angelo joining us, everyone. Marco, it's $9 Monday at WagerTalk. What do you got going for the clients tonight, my friend?
Well, we've got a play in the Rose Bowl, and we got a play on Monday Night Football. Gee, I wonder who I have in Monday Night Football. So don't buy that one, but you can go ahead and buy my Rose Bowl selection for $9. We've got that up, and we're coming off a 5% play on the Ohio State Buckeyes. So, yes, fortunately, I was on the West Coast, and I didn't have to get yelled at for watching the end of that game because it was a big game for me. But you can check out my Rose Bowl selection. And, guys, we've been rolling in all of the sports, especially the NBA. We're on an 18-5 run there in the NBA.
Wow.
And we're going to go ahead and give you a free play there in the NBA. And, guys, there's no mystery to what I'm doing in the NBA. Until we get to the playoffs, yes, you look at statistics, okay? We look at the numbers. But it's as much about motivation and situational spots for me at this time of the year because we know these NBA teams do not come to play every single night. And I try to find those, spots where an overrated team might be in a flat spot or an underrated team's catching too many points because of a disinterested favorite. Tonight, this is the play in a nutshell. We've got the Clippers in a horrible spot. Now, I know Teddy will cross-examine me and say Miami's playing their third road game in 4 nights. Yeah, they are, but they did have yesterday off. Short trip to where they're playing tonight. For the Clippers, they just finished a 5-game road trip. They played on New Year's Eve. They fly back to California and play tonight, only 1 day off in between. So you say, okay, well, they had yesterday off. Well, if they had a 5-game road trip, they were away for the holidays. And I like fading teams the first game back. And the reason I do that, and it really comes into play here, is these guys are athletes, but they're just like you and me. They have families, they have girlfriends, they have kids. If you've been gone through Christmas and New Year's and you just got home yesterday, you had all kinds of distractions for the LA Clippers with the family and the kids, and now you got to turn around and play a basketball game tonight. When I sent the play in last night, I was getting 4.5 with Miami. It's 3 and down to 2.5 in a lot of markets right now. I'm still okay with that because I like Miami to win the game outright here, and I've got them winning the game outright. I also give you 2 stats here with Miami. Over the last 2 seasons, as an underdog, they're 26-15 against the spread. And over the last 2 seasons, if you want to take a little subset, when they're playing on the road, and they've played the previous 2 games on the road as well, how about 17-6 against the spread? Bad scheduling spot for the Clippers tonight. I'm going to go ahead and take the Heat to win this one outright.
And the money showing for Miami this morning, Jimmy Butler now upgraded to probable, and the Heat down to plus 2.5 in L.A. Marco, great analysis. Always enjoy getting to spend some time with you on a Monday. Talk about that run right here on WagerTalk Today. How's that the free play run going?
Well, Teddy, I'm glad you asked. We're at 17-6 here on. We split last week 1-1, but 17-6 the last 23 on WagerTalk Today.
That's a heck of a run. When we come back after this brief commercial message, big game breakdown, and then Drew Martin talking college football. Stay tuned. WagerTalk Today continues.
Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at both WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, when all daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including 5% best bets, normally priced at $35. As an added bonus, any picks packages loaded early for Overnight Tuesday or action during the week will also be priced at $9 until midnight on Monday. So make sure to take advantage of getting these $25 and $35 picks for only $9 before the clock strikes 12 and they return to regular price.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. Let's talk about, what's the name of this bowl? The Cotton Bowl. That's what it's called, of course. It is kicking off in, half an hour from now. Tulane and USC. And sometimes the point spread tells you all you need to know. All right. USC looks very, very cheap to back here for good reason. Motivation. This isn't the bowl that USC wanted. All right. They got beaten in the Pac-12 title game. This is where Tulane wanted to play. The best season Tulane's had in decades. All right. USC's QB, he's been on the Heisman circuit. He's banged up. Their top wide receiver's sitting out. Their top running back's sitting out. The Trojans' run defense. Why are they here? Well, they're here because they couldn't stop the run against Utah in the Pac-12 title game. Tulane's strength is their ability to run the football. Tulane's not the opponent, primed to bring out USC's A-plus effort in the Cotton Bowl. Green Wave, elite running team, most efficient passing offense in the AAC, and a defense with enough speed to hang around the Trojans' pass catchers. It's been a very special season for the Green Wave, and I expect them to close it out with a win that gets Willie Fritz's squad some love on the national radar. Live dog in this one. Take Tulane, and if you want, you can hedge some of it with the over as well. We've seen a lot of over money come in on this ballgame. I don't argue with it. I would not be surprised if USC gets their fair share in this one, but I don't trust the Trojans to stop the Green Wave. Tulane, the primary, over the secondary. There's your big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Teddy covers! Great stuff, man. I just put my plays up for tonight while you were talking. I got one college basketball play and one NBA play. I'm in action on the last bowl game. What's the problem? What's the problem here?
You got two. You were able to post 2 plays in the 2 minutes that I was talking. That's pretty good. I don't post them that fast. Well done.
Well, thank you, Teddy. That's why you interrupted me promoting myself. Okay, good.
Yes, you've already promoted yourself 4 times in the show. Let's bring in Drew Martin.
Drew Martin! Would you want to promo me, Drew?
Hey, his name is Lawrence, guys. I mean, you talk about a unique and sophisticated name.
Okay, shut
Lawrence.
up, Drew. Enough. So I can't get the song out of my head, Drew. It's been 6 days, the same damn song. Teddy leaned over. He's about to write hard stop. Stop talking nonsense. Alive and Kicking. You know that song?
No, I don't.
Give
It's
it
amazing.
to me now. Alive and kicking. Say it to me, blah, 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 blah. Simple Minds. Can't get it out of my mind. Can't get it out of my freaking mind. Oh, Drew Martin. We love having you on, man. You host a million shows, an MVP as well over at Wager Talk. What are we talking about today, Drew? We're going to talk LSU against Purdue, minus 15.5. One of our viewers literally mentioned a few minutes ago, take LSU, Purdue stinks. So where are you at with that?
It's tough to argue with your valued listener there. In the Citrus Bowl, Orlando, Florida, guys. This one going off similar to Teddy's. Hopefully got multiple TVs here. Of when I was coming on, I heard Teddy's big game breakdown. This one's starting at 1 o'clock Eastern. And yeah, now we're seeing the line 15 here, Prez. And a lot of this speaks to just the situation Purdue's in right now. Not only are they facing LSU, pretty talented team overall. Their head coach, Jeff Brom, he leaves for Louisville. Kind of unique in almost weird situation. His brother is actually going to take over as the interim head coach. So in terms of handicapping that, it's a little bit tricky, a lot like a lot of the bowls in 2022 and 2023 now. Got to get used to saying that, Preds. But really their quarterback, Aiden O'Connell, he's second team all Big Ten, really good quarterback. If you've watched Purdue play, it's a pretty big drop-off to the backup. So that's why I wouldn't bet the big dog here with the Boilermakers. But at the same time, Prez, LSU side of things, they're only going to have one starting defensive lineman playing in this bowl game. They had 23 opt-outs or injuries, transfers, whatever you want to call it, guys not playing that were on their regular season roster. So it's question marks on both sides here, Prez. But if you make me play this one, man, LSU minus the points here, minus a little bit more than 2 touchdowns. That's the only way I could go, mainly because the Purdue quarterback, he's that valuable to their offense, in my opinion.
So when we look at the LSU side of the equation, is LSU excited about being here? They lost back-to-back games to close out the regular season. We certainly know that Brian Kelly's got a decent track record in these type of spots. And if you grade out the personnel, LSU deserves to be the favorite in this, maybe a significant favorite. But I mean, what do you do with a game that you could have bet at -6 or 6.5 at the open that's -15.5 right now? Can you still lay it?
It's a good question here, Teddy. You bring up a great point, and it kind of has that similar theme that you were talking about with USC in your big game breakdown, that you want to be betting on teams that want to be there and that are motivated, have been working hard to win this game. And does LSU check that box? Not fully here. I will say this about the line movement, Teddy. Interested in your thoughts if you have any, because I've noticed this for years now in bowl season. I want to be on the right side. Betting good numbers is always important, but when you start talking about line, it's almost like college basketball totals, right? When you're betting an over and it moves from 150 to 155, that is not the same 5-point move as 2 to 7 in the NFL. They're just kind of apples to oranges, if you will, in comparison. But still, I mean, the touchdown move, yeah. I mean, that's why it's not a client play for me, Teddy. But it'd be LSU or pass.
Drew Martin joining us, everyone. And Drew, congrats on a great CFB bowl season. You've been hot as hell in this sport for a while now. 19-8 college football run. You got a $9 play up today on both the Rose Bowl and the Cotton Bowl. Anything else for the clients?
Those are the two client plays going today, Prez. So, hey, a little bowl action here, guys, to end the college football season for me. And let's get into on the national championship. Haven't as of now, Prez. But no, it's bowl season right now. Also on a little mini heater in the NFL, 5-0 here. So
Nice.
be in with the weekend card here shortly, possibly even later today, as when we get off and after the NFL opening line report, going to get after it here in the office, Prez.
Guys, we need 14 more likes if you want a daily presidential address. Drew, do you know what the common denominator is between TCU and Georgia? They're both alive and kicking. Give it to me now. Do, do, do. Okay, I'm done. Who's winning this game by over point spread wise? How do we bet it?
The national championship game, guys. First of all, Prez, I got to say, TCU surprising the world here against Michigan. And guys, if you check out the free picks page on WagerTalk.com, I gave out a future. Prez, TCU was plus 1,800 to win the national championship back, just a couple days ago, pretty much before they beat Michigan. And it was just out of line for me. I mean, it was like Georgia minus 130, Ohio State and Michigan kind of lightly plus price. And then TCU was plus 1,800. So sure enough, it wasn't a client play for me, but I wrote it up with a decent reasoning here of, to risk $100 to win $1,800 if TCU actually wins the national championship. They went off as 7.5-point underdogs against Michigan and win outright. Now, plus 1,800 is water under the bridge, guys. So I'm kind of sitting on that right now. But in terms of, hedging out, I'm not a big hedger. I think hedging is kind of for gardeners a little bit. So I like to let it ride as kind of a gambler. It's not life-changing money by any means. So I don't know, breaking this down, do you really want to go up against TCU? I mean, I asked that question because they're one of the most profitable teams in the country, with all due respect to Tulane actually being the most profitable team. TCU's right under them. I think they were 11-3 against the spread. So the market has kind of been underpricing them, Prez, literally the whole season. Now they're catching 2 touchdowns against, granted, the number 1 team in the country, probably the most talented team in terms of NFL kind of guys that are going to be playing on Sunday. But TCU's been underrated. Their quarterback, Max Duggan, you read about him, the son of a high school football coach, the way that he plays quarterback. He's a guy I want to be betting on, giving me 2 touchdowns. I think it would be TCU if you make me get down on it. I haven't bet it personally as of yet, though.
So I've got a 5% big ticket up and available for this game right now, $9 Monday. You can get it over at WagerTalk and or sportsmemo.com. I have a very strong opinion on it. It's already written up and ready to go. Here's my question for you. It feels like, we're looking at the early consensus numbers, it feels like TCU is going to be a very popular underdog in this game. Do you worry at all? I mean, I've heard a lot of people come on the show and say, I don't like the public dogs. I don't like the public dogs. TCU is going to be the epitome of a public dog next Monday night. Do you worry about that at all when you look at the Horned Frogs plus the points?
Okay, what PASPA passed in 2018, where sports betting became legal in the United States, Teddy, as you know, and since kind of sports betting content has been more in the mainstream and growing, the one thing that I would say, guys, that is the most overblown, people run with this topic of just kind of trying to sound smart, and I'm not talking to you, Teddy, you're just asking the question, but
Well, he never sounds
betting
smart.
the public dog, the percent of people that are betting this side rather than this side,
Who
and you're
cares?
actually going to put your hard-earned money on that concept is idiotic to me. No.
Oh, I'm
Break
so
it down,
with you.
guys. The defensive line versus offensive line. Can TCU hold up? Can they actually, move the ball against this Georgia defense like they were able to do against Michigan? That's how you want to handicap sports betting. Get that nonsense out of your head is what I would say.
Oh, well bloody said, Drew. I am so with, I don't even look at that shit. 73% of the people are on Buffalo tonight. Dude, 99% of the people in this world listen to Drake. Who gives a shit what idiots do? Anyway, Drew Martin, awesome stuff, man. You got the opening line report coming up with Teddy. You've promoted your plays tonight, $9 Monday. Drew's on both the Cotton Bowl and the Rose Bowl. My brother, thanks for joining us today.
Always fun, Lawrence. All right, Teddy, see you soon, guys. NFL opening line report.
Teddy, we don't have long, but I want to address something Chris L. wrote in the chat room. Never understood why hedging is for gardeners. Why not guarantee a profit? Teddy, I never hedge. Ever, 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 ever. And the reason I never hedge is because I bet the same percentage of my bankroll on every single play that I put out. Not the same, mostly 3%, sometimes 4, sometimes 5, but 99% of the time it's 3%. And I want to hit my 55% at the end of the year. And if I'm hedging along the way, I screw up the math. It takes away from the concept of I'm going to win more than I'm going to lose. I never hedge a bet ever. Do you?
Yes, but there are very specific circumstances.
Yeah,
Okay.
on futures.
I do not hedge regularly. All right. If there's a big score, all right, if you have game-changing money, all right, if you win a bet and nothing if you lose it, that's a hedge time. Okay. If it follows one criteria, and the one criteria is you like the hedge bet. If you don't like the hedge bet, you don't make it.
Right.
But if you like the hedge bet, you can absolutely, I'm playing for first place in a contest. I'm going to bet 20 grand the other way in the money line, that type of thing. Absolutely, you hedge in those spots where it's life-changing money on one side. You want to get something if you lose, as long as you like the other side that you're hedging. That's the time to hedge, in my opinion. Let's do your
wait. I'll throw to that. Blacksmith writes, cappers always want to act like nobody can do what they do, so we have to pay them for it and hate when normal people learn about sports betting principles. Blacksmith, did you just listen to the show? Teddy and I literally discussed hedging. Teddy and I discuss and teach betting principles literally every day. Your statement is so freaking wrong, it's ridiculous. We literally try to improve the betting of our listeners all the time. And I have deep respect for the people who come into this chat room. Teddy, no joke. You want to judge how good this show is? Read the chat. When you want great Chinese food, go to a Chinese restaurant filled with Chinese people. When you want great Indian food, go to an Indian restaurant filled with Indian people. When you want great sports betting information, go to a show where the listeners are incredibly savvy and talented sports bettors. That's what we are. Take me to the presidential address, Daniel's son. Okay, guys, really quickly, today is the last day of the promo code Prez199. That's Prez199. You get a month of all my plays for $199. That's $100 off the regular price. And we will add an extra week. So you get 5 weeks for the price of 2 weeks. Prez199. I've already told you guys, there's no handicapper in the world hotter than I am currently. So please take advantage of that. As for your free bets tonight, easy. I'm passing in hockey for my clients, but I do have 3 plays for you guys. I like the under in the Boston-Pittsburgh Penguins game. I like Colorado minus 170 against Vegas, and I like them on the puck line as well. And I like Anaheim and Philadelphia to go over the total of 6. Take advantage of Prez 199 today. It ends at midnight. Teddy, my brother, take us home.
Enjoy the games. Best of luck. We'll see you right back here on WagerTalk Today tomorrow.
Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at both WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, when all daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including 5% best bets, normally priced at $35. As an added bonus, any picks packages loaded early for Overnight Tuesday or action during the week will also be priced at $9 until midnight on Monday. So make sure to take advantage of getting these $25 and $35 picks for only $9 before the clock strikes 12 and they return to regular price.